Picture this moment. You're sitting alone, perhaps in the quiet of your room, perhaps staring out a window as the world moves on without notice of your pain. Your phone lies silent beside you, no longer buzzing with messages that once filled you with anticipation. The person who occupied your thoughts for months, maybe years, has become a ghost in your life. The future you imagined together has dissolved like morning mist, leaving you with nothing but the echo of what was and the hollow ache of what will never be. This is where our journey begins. Not in the heights of romantic bliss, but in the depths of heartbreak, rejection, and the profound loneliness that follows when love ends. It is here, in this space of raw vulnerability, that the ancient wisdom of the Stoics offers us not mere comfort, but transformation. Nearly 2,000 years ago, three men faced their own struggles with loss, disappointment, and the unpredictable nature of human connection. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher, emperor, who ruled an empire yet struggled with the chaos of his inner world. Seneca, the advisor who understood that external validation was a prison disguised as pleasure. And Epictetus, who knew intimately what it meant to lose control over the circumstances of his life. Having been born into slavery, yet finding freedom. In the discipline of his mind, these men did not speak of love, the flowery language of poets, or the desperate promises of the lovesick. They spoke of it as they spoke of all things, through the lens of what we can and cannot control, through the practice of emotional discipline, and through the recognition that our suffering often comes not from what happens to us, but from our judgments about what happens to us. Today, as you navigate the treacherous waters of modern dating, with its infinite choices and instant gratifications, with its ghosting and breadcrumbing, and the thousand small cruelties that technology has made possible, their wisdom remains. As relevant as ever, when Epictetus taught his students about the nature of attachment, he was not speaking as someone who had never loved or never lost. He was speaking as a man who understood that our deepest suffering comes from trying to control what lies beyond our influence. In the realm of dating and relationships, this truth cuts through the heart of why we suffer so intensely when someone rejects us, when they choose another, or when they simply fade away without explanation. We suffer because we have attached our sense of worth, our vision of the future, our very identity to another person's choices, feelings, and actions. Consider the last time someone you cared about pulled away from you. Remember the frantic analyzing of their messages, searching for hidden meanings in delayed responses or changes in tone. Recall the sleepless nights spent wondering what you did wrong, what you could have done differently, how you might win them back. This is the mind that has forgotten the fundamental Stoic principle that Epictetus taught with such clarity. Some things are within our control, and some things are not. The sooner we learn to distinguish between these two categories, the sooner we can direct our energy toward what actually matters. What lies within your control in dating and relationships? Your own behavior, your own standards, your own responses to both success and failure? How you treat others, how you show up in conversations, how you honor your commitments, how you handle rejection with dignity, what you choose to focus on when someone disappoints you, whether you allow their actions to diminish your self-respect or strengthen your resolve to become a better version of yourself. These are your domains of power, your sphere of influence, the territory where you reign supreme. What lies outside your control? Whether someone chooses to love you back, whether they see your worth, whether they keep their promises, whether they grow tired of you or find someone else more appealing, how they handle conflict, whether they have the emotional maturity to communicate clearly, whether they are ready for the kind of relationship you seek, whether they are healing from their own wounds or still trapped in patterns that make healthy love impossible. You can influence these things through your own excellence, but you cannot control them. And the moment you forget this truth, you step into the realm of suffering that the Stoics knew so well. Marcus Aurelius, writing in his private journal that would become known as the Meditations, reminded himself again and again that external circumstances have no power to disturb the soul unless we grant them that power. When he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He was not offering abstract philosophy. He was offering practical wisdom for someone who, despite having ultimate worldly power, could not control the people he loved most, could not make his wife love him more deeply. He could not force his children to appreciate his sacrifices. He could not guarantee that those he trusted would remain loyal. Yet in accepting these limitations, he found a different kind of power, the power of inner sovereignty. This inner sovereignty is what we must cultivate when we enter the arena of dating with its inevitable disappointments and rejections. Picture yourself not as a supplicant begging for love, but as a person of inherent worth who has something valuable to offer. When someone does not recognize that value, you do not diminish yourself by pleading or pursuing. You do not take their blindness as evidence of your inadequacy. Instead, you thank them for their honesty, for showing you where you do not belong. And you redirect your energy toward those who have the wisdom to appreciate what you bring to the table. Seneca, who advised emperors yet understood the poverty of spirit that can exist even in palaces, wrote extensively about the dangers of placing our happiness in the hands of others. He observed how quickly fortune changes, how uncertain all external goods truly are, and how the person who builds their joy on such unstable foundations is destined for disappointment. In the context of modern dating, this wisdom translates to a profound truth. The person who needs romantic validation to feel complete will always be at the mercy of others' moods, preferences, and circumstances. When you meet someone new, someone who makes your heart race and your mind spin with possibilities, Stoic wisdom does not ask you to feel nothing. It asks you to feel fully while holding lightly, to appreciate the beauty of connection without becoming desperate to possess it, to enjoy the early stages of romance while maintaining the inner stability that comes from knowing you are complete with or without this person's love. This is not emotional numbness or self-protection born of fear. This is the confidence of someone who understands their own worth independently of others. It's recognition of it. The rejection you fear most has no power to destroy you unless you give it that power. When someone tells you they are not interested, when someone chooses another over you, when someone breaks your heart after promising forever, you have a choice in how you respond. You can interpret their actions as evidence of your fundamental unworthiness, as proof that you are destined to be alone, as confirmation of every insecurity you have ever harbored about yourself, or you can interpret their actions as information, as a mismatch of values or timing or compatibility, as a redirection towards something better suited to your authentic self. Epictetus, who knew what it meant to have his freedom taken away by forces beyond his control, discovered that inner freedom could never be touched by external circumstances. No one could force him to feel ashamed of who he was. No one could make him believe he was less valuable because of his station in life. No one could rob him of his dignity unless he surrendered it willingly. The same truth applies to your romantic life. No one can make you feel unworthy of love unless you accept their judgment as more important than your own self-knowledge. Think about the last relationship that ended, the one that left you questioning everything about yourself. Remember how their criticisms or indifference seemed to confirm your worst fears about your attractiveness, your personality, your capacity to be loved? Now imagine viewing that same experience through Stoic eyes. This person, dealing with their own wounds and limitations, was unable to appreciate what you offered. Their inability to love you fully says more about their capacity than your worthiness. Their choice to leave cleared space in your life for someone better equipped to recognize and cherish your unique gifts. This perspective is not denial or rationalization. It is a more accurate understanding of how relationships actually work. People choose based on their own needs, fears, preferences, and level of emotional development. Someone might reject you, not because you are lacking, because you remind them too much of someone who hurt them in the past. Someone might pull away, not because you are too much or too little, but because intimacy triggers their deepest anxieties. About vulnerability, someone might choose another not because that person is objectively better, but because they represent something that feels safer or more familiar or less challenging to the status quo. When you truly internalize this understanding, rejection begins to lose its sting. It becomes information rather than condemnation. It becomes redirection rather than failure. It becomes an opportunity to practice the most important Stoic virtue, the discipline of desire. This discipline teaches us to want what we can control and to accept gracefully what we cannot. In relationships, this means focusing your desire on becoming the kind of person worthy of great love rather than on making any specific person love you. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the impermanence of all things, not from a place of despair, but from a place of acceptance that allowed him to appreciate beauty without clinging to it.
8.
When he looked at his loved ones, he practiced seeing them as temporary gifts rather than permanent possessions. This practice, which might seem cold to our modern sensibilities, actually deepened his capacity to love authentically. When we love someone knowing we cannot keep them forever, knowing they have the freedom to leave, knowing their feelings may change, we love them more purely. We love them for who they are, rather than for how they make us feel. We love them in the present moment, rather than for the future we hope they will provide. This is the kind of love that the Stoics would recognize as virtuous. It is love that seeks the beloved's highest good, even when that good does not include us. It is love that honors the other person's autonomy and choices, even when those choices cause us pain. It is love that does not demand permanence as the price of depth. When you love this way, you become magnetic to others, who have also learned to love from a place of strength rather than need. The heartbreak you are experiencing right now, or the fear of heartbreak that keeps you from opening fully to love, is not evidence that you are weak or that love itself is futile. It is evidence that you are human, that you have the courage to risk, that you value connection deeply enough to be vulnerable. Seneca wrote that every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. And this is perhaps nowhere more true than in matters of the heart. The relationship that ended had to end to make space for the one that is coming. The person who rejected you had to reject you to clear the path toward someone who will choose you enthusiastically. But here is where Stoic wisdom diverges from modern self-help platitudes about everything happening for a reason or the universe having a plan. The Stoics were not naive optimists who believed in fairy tale endings. They were realists who understood that life includes suffering, that good people sometimes experience terrible losses, that virtue is not always rewarded in the ways we hope. What they offered instead was the recognition that we can find meaning and strength in any circumstance, including the circumstance of being alone. Solitude, which our culture often treats as a problem to be solved as quickly as possible, was viewed by the Stoics as an opportunity for the deepest kind of self-development. When you are not trying to impress someone else or meet someone else's needs or navigate someone else's moods and expectations, you can focus entirely on becoming the person you most want to be. You can pursue interests that fascinate you without worrying whether they make you more or less attractive to potential partners. You can develop opinions and values based on your own experience and reflection rather than on what you think others want to hear. You can learn to enjoy your own company so thoroughly that being alone becomes a choice rather than a sentence. This is not about becoming self-sufficient to the point of never needing anyone else. Humans are social creatures, and the desire for intimate partnership is natural and healthy. This is about becoming so secure in your own worth, so clear about your own values, so comfortable with your own company that you enter relationships from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. When you know you can be happy alone, you make different choices about whom to be with, become more selective, more discerning, less willing to settle for treatment that does not honor your worth. The Stoic practice of negative visualization, imagining the loss of what we value most, is particularly powerful when applied to relationships. Instead of catastrophizing about being alone forever, practice imagining it clearly and calmly. Picture yourself living a full, meaningful life without romantic partnership. See yourself pursuing your goals, maintaining friendships, contributing to your community, finding joy in small daily pleasures. Notice that in this imagined life, you are still you, still valuable, still capable of growth and happiness. Practice does not make you cynical about love. It makes you fearless in love, because you know you can survive and even thrive. If love does not work out as you hope, Epictetus taught that we suffer not from events themselves, but from our judgments about events. In the realm of dating and relationships, This insight is transformative. Being single is not inherently painful. Thinking that being single means you are unlovable creates pain. Being rejected is not inherently devastating. Believing that rejection proves your inadequacy creates devastation. Having a relationship end is not inherently tragic. Deciding that the end of this relationship means you will never find happiness again creates tragedy. Pay attention to the stories you tell yourself about your romantic experiences. Notice when you catastrophize, when you take things personally that have nothing to do with you, when you assign meanings to events that create unnecessary suffering. A delayed text response does not mean someone is losing interest. It means they are busy. First date that does not lead to a second does not mean you are boring. It means you are not a match for that particular person. A breakup does not mean you are incapable of lasting love. It means this particular relationship ran its course. The discipline of shifting these internal narratives is not about becoming delusionally positive or refusing to acknowledge real problems. It is about becoming more accurate in your assessments, more realistic about what different outcomes actually mean. Most of the pain we experience in dating comes not from what happens, but from what we make what happens mean about us, about our future, about our worth as human beings. Marcus Aurelius regularly practiced reminding himself that his thoughts were just thoughts, not facts, not commands from the universe, not prophecies about the future. When anxiety about your romantic life begins to spiral, practice this same discipline. Notice that I will never find anyone as a thought, not a truth. I am not attractive enough is a thought, not an objective reality. I always choose the wrong people as a thought, not a permanent character flaw. These thoughts feel true when we are in pain, but they are interpretations, not facts, and interpretations can be changed. The Stoic concept of memento mori, remembering death, serves a profound purpose in relationships. When you remember that both you and everyone you might love have limited time on this earth, it puts your romantic struggles in perspective. The person who ghosted you after 3 dates did not waste years of your life. They gave you information quickly so you could redirect your energy elsewhere. The relationship that lasted 2 years and then ended was not 2 years wasted. It was 2 years of learning, growing, and experiencing connection, even if it was not permanent. The heartbreak you are experiencing now is not the end of your story. It is a chapter in a larger narrative that you are still writing. This perspective helps. You approach dating with appropriate seriousness without inappropriate desperation, as finding a compatible partner matters, as building a loving relationship can add richness and joy to your life. But no, your entire happiness and self-worth do not depend on romantic success. No, being alone for months or even years while you work on yourself and wait for the right person is not a failure. No, having high standards that eliminate many potential partners is not self-sabotage. It is self-respect. Seneca wrote extensively about the importance of preparing for setbacks, not from pessimism, but from practicality. If you expect that dating will be easy, that everyone you are interested in will be interested in you, that love will be simple and straightforward, you are setting yourself up for unnecessary shock and disappointment when reality proves otherwise. If instead you enter the dating world understanding that rejection is normal, that compatibility is rare, that building real intimacy takes time and patience, and often multiple attempts with different people, you can maintain your equilibrium when things do not go as hoped. This preparation is not about becoming cynical or guarded. It is about becoming resilient. When you understand that dating involves a numbers game, most people you meet will not be right for you, just as you will not be right for most people you meet. Individual rejections lose their power to devastate, become expected parts of a process rather than personal attacks on your worth. You can remain open-hearted while being realistic about outcomes. You can invest emotionally in getting to know someone, while holding lightly to specific expectations about where that getting to know process will lead. The Stoic virtue of justice includes treating others with fairness and respect even when they have not treated you the same way. In dating, this means maintaining your integrity regardless of how others behave. When someone ghosts you, you do Not ghost others in retaliation. When someone lies to you, you do not become a liar yourself. When someone treats you as an option rather than a priority, you do not start treating everyone as disposable. You continue to show up authentically, to communicate clearly, to honor your commitments, not because others deserve it, but because this is who you choose to be. This commitment to your own character, regardless of others' behavior, is ultimately what makes you attractive to the kind of person you actually want to be with. People who are secure and emotionally mature are drawn to others who display consistency, integrity, and self-respect. People who are still operating from wounds and insecurities are often attracted to partners who mirror their own dysfunction. By maintaining your standards for how you treat others, you naturally filter for people who are at a similar level of emotional development. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that the only true failure was the failure to act according to his own values. In relationships, this translates to measuring your success not by whether someone chooses you, but by whether you show up as the person you most want to be. Did you communicate honestly about your needs and boundaries? Did you treat the other person with kindness and respect? Did you listen with genuine interest to their thoughts and feelings? Did you make an effort to understand their perspective, even when it differed from yours? Did you maintain your own sense of identity and purpose, even while opening your heart to connection? These are the questions that matter, the measures of success that remain within your control, regardless of outcomes. When you focus on these aspects of dating and relationships, you win every time you show up authentically. Whether or not that showing up leads to lasting partnership with any particular person, you build self-respect that no rejection can shake. You develop relationship skills that will serve you well with the right person when you meet them. You become the kind of person worthy of the love you seek. The ancient Stoics understood that our greatest power lies in our response to circumstances, not in our ability to control circumstances themselves. In the unpredictable world of modern dating, this wisdom offers both practical guidance and deep comfort. You cannot make someone love you, but you can become genuinely lovable. You cannot prevent heartbreak, but you can recover from it with grace and wisdom. You cannot guarantee that any particular relationship will last forever, but you can show up fully in each relationship while it exists. When you embrace these truths, dating becomes less about finding someone to complete you and more about finding someone to complement you. It becomes less about escaping loneliness and more about sharing richness. It becomes less about proving your worth and more about discovering compatibility. This shift in perspective attracts different kinds of people and creates different kinds of outcomes. Instead of desperate connections based on need and fear, you create conscious partnerships based on choice and abundance. The journey through heartbreak to healing to wisdom is not a quick or easy one, but it is one that transforms you into a person capable of deeper, more authentic love. Every rejection teaches you something about what you truly want and need. Every disappointment strengthens your capacity to face uncertainty with courage. Every ending creates space for a new beginning that might be exactly what you were meant to find all along. As you move forward from this moment, wherever you are in your romantic journey, remember that the Stoics' greatest gift was not their ability to avoid pain, but their ability to find meaning. In growth in whatever life presented, you're dating. Struggles are not evidence of your failure as a person. They are evidence of your willingness to risk, to hope, to remain open to connection despite the possibility of loss. That willingness is one of the most courageous and beautiful aspects of being human. Let Marcus Aurelius' words guide you forward. Confine yourself to the present. Do not torture yourself with regrets about past relationships or anxieties about future loneliness. In this present moment, you have everything you need to take the next right step. Whether that step is reaching out to someone new, ending a relationship that no longer serves you, working on healing from recent heartbreak, or simply enjoying your own company while you wait for the right person to appear, you have the wisdom and strength to choose well. The fortress of your heart is not built by keeping others out, but by knowing that your worth remains intact, regardless of who chooses to enter or leave. This fortress is not a prison of isolation, but a palace of self-respect from which you can love others freely because you do not need their love to know who you are. Build this fortress with the timeless stones of Stoic wisdom and Discover that you become magnetic to the very love you have always sought, but no longer desperately need.